Okay, well, hello everybody. My name's Kim. I'm part of the iMoot team, and we have a treat for you today. We have Miriam Laidlaw and Tabitha Parker that are going to talk about some old school Moodle stuff, from what I hear. So, thank you everybody for joining us and being part of this. So, and thanks to you girls for presenting. So here you go.
Thanks for the introduction.
Thank you.
Hello. So I'm Tabitha.
I'm Miriam. We work for Waimata District Health Board as instructional designers.
We have worked together for a long time, and before Waimata District Health Board, we worked together at Unitec, doing some LMS administration and some teacher professional development and academic advice stuff. And going back even further, and I don't know, every direction you can imagine. So we've worked with Stuart at HRDNZ, trying to make sure that this Moodle community gets all the support we can possibly offer.
That's right. So please do ask questions as we go and share your experiences and ask us about any challenges you are having. But yeah, we're here to talk about Boost and Tours, which are lovely new things for Moodle. And we're here to guide you Moodle Geriatrics through all these newfangled features.
Yeah, we were trying to remember the first version of Moodle that we used. And I think Stuart would know, but I think it was either 1.4. Did we start with 1.4? When we were working with a travel and tourism institute? Can't remember.
1.3 says
oh my god, 1.3. Okay, I've been around even longer. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so we want to talk about Boost, which is this new bootstrap theme.
Yeah.
But it is different. Yeah.
First, we want to take you on a trip down memory lane.
Yeah. So the Boost theme, it's yeah. Okay, just keep going.
We'll go. Yeah. We. Okay. So here's a trip down memory lane. Wood theme.
You haven't Moodled till you have used wood theme.
Totally.
This is
the nostalgia.
back when theming was easy.
Yeah. Okay. And then so if we're talking about being able to customize your page and the look and feel of your page, the first stage of people being able to control their view and control the way their page looks is to be able to collapse the blocks.
Yeah, so this is stepping into letting the student choose what they could see on their screen. So the student could collapse the blocks. So it wasn't all being driven by the what the teacher decided. They had a little tiny insy bit of control. So that's pretty cool. And then we moved to docking blocks.
And then, yeah, docking came along as a thing. And it came with its own set of challenges, both for users when they didn't realize that they'd docked a block and they were like, oh my God, where did my block go? And
get all those calls. Hi, Miriam. No, it's Tabitha. Yeah, Miriam, where are my blocks? And then Miriam gets the call. Hi, Tabitha. No, it's Miriam. Yeah, Tabitha. No, Miriam. Like, where are my blocks? I can't find my blocks. Whoever you are, lady, where are my blocks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, look over on the left. No, further left. Further, all the way on the left. It'll be sideways.
Yeah.
Turn your head. And so it came with those challenges and also theming challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God, having to theme those things.
Yeah, so Kim says that at her college they disabled this because folks would lose their blocks.
Yep.
Well, we've even come across the blocks being disabled.
So
like after
we discovered that if docking was enabled,
docking is enabled,
and then someone docks their block, and then docking's disabled.
Oh no, where's their block?
When they don't have editing turned on, their block is gone. And
admin block. Teachers, no admin block. Oh my God.
They docked their admin block, and then the docking had been disabled again.
Yeah.
And it was there when they had editing turned on. It wasn't there when they had editing turned off. That took us a while to figure out.
Yeah. So let's move into the future. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, not yet. We're not ready.
We've
got to tell you more.
Then there were blocks for Africa. Suddenly we had the ability to put blocks wherever the heck we wanted, and boy did we.
Let's put some up here.
This is
Let's put some
my
down
theme.
here.
I'm
Let's
not
put some
proud of
here.
it.
Let's put some here.
It was like, how many blocks can I fit on a page theme? Yeah, let's just move right along.
Yeah, let's go to the future. Let's look in the future. We're ready for it. We're ready. Okay, right.
And the renaming of admin block to settings.
Yeah.
Or was it
yeah.
settings to admin?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's nice to see that we're going back to a bit of simplicity.
So Boost is a new core theme.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody can have Boost if they move to 3.2 and beyond. Yep.
And beyond.
And beyond. Well, 3.3 has just been
Very
released.
space themed. Okay. It's quite configurable.
Yeah.
And mobile compatible, which is nice. And because of the improvements in navigation, and yes, they are improvements, we'll show you how they are improvements. You old school Moodlers, hold back on your grumpiness, do mean that you have a bit more space on the screen. Because one of the things that we love is being able to have a default course layout that does not have those blocks that you just want to delete anyway on it. Every time you make a new course, who doesn't just go in and delete those blocks? I go in and delete the blocks every time. So not having the blocks and then just being able to add the blocks that you want is great. Without having to obviously edit your config.php file, which you could have done previously to get rid of those blocks, but you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reducing the duplication. So having the ability to go somewhere from there, or there, it makes it simpler. Like, you know that there's a place where you go for something.
Yeah. So it feels a bit more social media sort of, you know, new, like more like Facebook and Google and all that. Yeah. So okay, ready?
Yeah.
Ready. Here we go. Let's take it. Oh,
so
right.
first impressions. Oh my God, where did everything go?
We've arrived at our new Boost themed new install of 3.2, right?
Yeah.
We're looking for the blocks. Okay. We found them. We did find them. Don't worry. We found them. They're in this little thing with the 3 lines up here, right? There we go. Yep. That's called the Nav Drawer. So we found them in there. Yeah. But where on earth do we turn editing on?
Hamburger icon.
Pancake stack? Yeah.
Pancake stack.
So the turn editing on icon has disappeared, and we'll show you where that is in a minute. But yeah, this is a little bit of a different look, right? So I don't know, can we zoom in a little bit? So if we come to the top right here.
What are you trying to zoom into?
Do we have the...
We don't have the cog on the screen.
No point zooming in then. Next screen. Okay.
This is the one that talks about the cog and all its different forms.
Why is it not changing slides?
Oh. We seem to be having some minor issues.
Can people still hear us?
Are we still here?
Maybe. Yeah, you're still here.
Okay, great.
We can't progress our slides.
Hmm.
Are we
Get
still
it?
on the Where
Maybe.
Did Things Go slide? Is everyone still seeing
You're-
that slide?
You're on the My
Okay.
New Friend slide.
Oh, okay. So, okay. I mean, that's the slide we want to be on.
But we can't control it.
We can't see it on our screen. We still
Okay.
see the Where Did Things Go. So, My New Friend. Excellent. Thank you. So the gear icon is your context-specific administration area. I wrote block in my things, but I don't think it really looks too much like a block. And it's hidden nicely in the top right of wherever you are.
Like a drop-down menu sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to find the gear everywhere.
Oh, there we go. It's changed on our screen.
What do you
Okay.
see now on the screen?
Still My New Friend?
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. So
Okay. We'll try moving on a slide.
There it
Oh, that works
goes.
this time.
go.
Okay.
More.
Yes.
More.
So the course administration, so the course page, when you click on the gear icon, That's where you can see a lot of the course administration stuff. But it sort of gives you just the basics of course administration in there. And if you click on the More link, then that takes you to a page that has the detailed course administration stuff. And it mimics the way that the new site administration page looks and works, I guess, which is quite nice. So there's consistency there as well.
Sorry. Okay. Site admin. So site admin changed. So you used to have the site admin block if you were site admin on the left by default, and you'd have little triangles that you can open and close to look at various parts of site admin, or the search right there on the front page. And every page you were on, actually, when you're a site admin, you could just search. And you know what? I really like that. I really like that, because it just made me feel like if I ever needed to do anything as site admin, I could just quickly type it in the search.
Whereas I'm like, I like the search not being there. I like deliberately just going to the site admin page. The search is still there, but you've already gone to site administration.
So when you click site admin in the Nav Drawer, which is where it is now, in the Nav Drawer,
Yep.
your search is at the top here. And instead of having a menu that's flowing down, you've now got little tabs across the top. So you've got site admin, users, courses, grades, plugins, blah, 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 blah. So it's a different way of laying it out, and it sort of separates it out a bit easier to follow. And the search obviously still works fine. So it is there.
It is there.
Yeah. There is a new feature.
Less scrolling. Yes.
There's a new feature.
And also clicking on those tiny little arrows when you just want to open out a section, instead of clicking, and you accidentally sometimes click on the section and then you have to wait for the... Yeah, I prefer this method.
So the new link that we found in there, which is nice, is that you can change your site logo independent of the theme. So you might want to check that out if you want to be able to change your site logo without having to change your theme.
It's quite nice.
There's also a theme preset file, so you should look at that too, because there's a repository there.
So the next screen, I think.
We get to the next screen.
So one of the things that may or may not be already visible when you first get to your page is that Nav Drawer. So it's just another reminder that if you are looking for any sort of admin stuff, or you're looking for the navigation, then it is up in that little pancake stack icon. Don't like hamburger. Not that I have anything against hamburgers.
Yeah, and we should probably tell them that it'll either move everything over.
Oh yeah.
It'll either, so when you open the Nav Drawer, it'll either move all your stuff to the side, slide out, and then slide back, or it will overlay.
Yeah. It depends on the size of screen you're using.
Yeah.
So
if you're on your phone, it'll be a different experience.
Yeah.
To if you're on your laptop or your tablet or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite intuitive, not intuitive, clever in that way, in that it tries to not mess up your screen as too much.
Okay, so let's talk about the simple things, right?
This is another sort of challenge when you first get there and you go, it's the simple things I want to do, but how?
Yeah. So the most important thing that teachers want to know how to do is like make sure they've got their students in their course. And it took us a little bit to go, right, where are the enrolled users? So
Speak for yourself.
You don't have users, enroll users, enroll users. You have participants now, and participants is all combined together. So you'll open your Nav Drawer and you'll click on participants, and you'll have a list of participants, and you'll be like, oh, how do I enroll users?
Yeah, it's not immediately obvious. There's no enroll users button on that page like there was when you went to users, enrolled users, and there's no sort of obvious menu. But remember,
you made a friend.
The gear icon is your friend.
Yeah. Click on the gear. Click on the gear, and you'll find enrolled users. It's not.
It
there.
is.
It's inside the gear.
It's inside the gear.
Look in the gear.
Yeah. We're not saying it's not there. It's just not. As in your face there. But the gear icon is your friend.
And it actually is a really good step in the right direction, because you used to have you used to have the people block.
The people block.
Why go to people for participants?
And
Why
then
don't
the
they call it
participants
participant block?
And then in the administration block, you had the users area.
And
So-
why was participants in navigation, right? Why wasn't it in the admin block? Right? So it is definitely better to just have it at the top of the screen in the nav drawer, just right there. Go to your participants, and you're not using the people and participants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're starting to get a little bit more
One
language.
place.
Yeah, language consistency.
Nice.
Yeah.
And yes, if you've already been training your people to use the gear icon for as many things as possible, then it'll be familiar moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there anything else
The students find the list of participants in the same place that you do.
Yeah.
In the nav drawer.
Yeah. They don't have
they-
the gear. No, because they can't enroll users.
They can't edit anything.
Yeah.
So they just see the list of participants as they previously did.
Yeah. They have they choose the current role though, so they can see all participants or just students or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're using groups, then I think they would be able to see their group, wouldn't they?
I'm not sure.
Can't remember. But there was something else that we wanted to tell you about in here. Yeah. So the participants up at the top there, we have a use case
That's right.
where we were asked to make the participant list invisible
To users.
Yes, to the students of the course.
Because of privacy issues. They were a bit concerned that it was too easy for users to get to other users' profiles. And there was some private information in those profiles that we had to have in there for our own reporting purposes, but they didn't want necessarily users to easily stumble into those.
Yeah, so we went for the quick fix of just hide the navigation block to make it a little bit tricky for them to find other participants. They can still, if they go into a forum and someone posts, they can click on that person and get to the profile. Yeah, but in this particular scenario, if we edited the student role, because the platform was shared, you would be affecting other people. So you either have to go in one course at a time, or edit permissions and categories or whatever, and it's a bit of a mesh, right?
The other problem is we couldn't really hide the field from the profile because we needed the users to be able to check that field in their own profile.
Yeah, so it was complicated. Yeah.
It was complicated, and we went, this is too hard. We're just going to deal with it in the easiest way possible.
Yeah. And we sort of had differing views to the person about the privacy of that.
Yeah,
anyway.
we were like, why is this an issue? But okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so we went, how would we do this in the new way? So we can still do it. If you edit the permissions of the student then so that they don't have permission to view participants. They just don't have participants in their nav drawer anymore.
It just tidily vanishes from their nav drawer, which is quite nice.
And they don't lose other stuff. Whereas when we removed the whole navigation block, they were losing the navigation. Yeah.
It's like, So anyway, that's what we did. And it was quite nice to see that it was a lot easier for our particular use case to fix that issue in a newer version. Yeah.
But the reason we gave you that long story was because we want to remind you that even though things are different, and if you've been using Moodle since 1.3 or some other old version, just because things look different doesn't mean you can't do the things that you are used to being able to do. You just got to find the ways that you do them and try and adjust to the new environment. So just keep persevering.
We need to move along.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. Some quirks. Right. You can't dock or collapse blocks in Boost. Right? That's not possible. You also can't move the nav drawer. So it's
always on the left.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
Yeah.
And a helpful hint for those of us who struggled
with me
is the adder block is in the nav drawer and it's down, further down. Keep going down underneath everything.
So some other stuff we noticed, that nav drawer looks pretty. It's pretty.
Yes.
But all your other blocks, they have to be on the right now.
Yep.
Yeah, they can't go in the nav drawer. You can't choose that. They're on the right, and they look a little bit different to the nav drawer. They're not as pretty. They're sort of pretty, but they're not as pretty. So, yeah.
And so they just look like old school blocks. Yeah, which compared to the nav drawer makes them look even older.
They have the same menu structure as they had before, so they look a bit out of place. But whatever. And if you're inside something like a quiz module or something, and you've got this random block sitting there, it looks a bit funny now.
Yeah.
But I think we just have to remember that Boost Theme is new and things will get better
Things will
with
change.
new iterations.
Also, in Boost, if you've noticed, you probably noticed when you're posting to forums and things like that, is
The asterisks?
the asterisks.
Yeah.
So you know the little asterisk that tells you that a field is required.
Yeah.
When you're doing something, they're all underlined like they're links.
But they're not links. They're not links. They're just underlined for no reason.
So that's easy to fix in the theme.
Yeah.
You just remove the underline property from that thing. But it's like, wait, what? That was a bit weird.
Yeah. There's another thing
We're
that's
like clicking on them.
another thing that's a bit strange is your switch role. Your switch role is now inside your user profile. It's not in the admin block because,
Yes.
well, you know.
Switch role 2 is
Switch
connected to your user, not to the course administration,
Mm.
even though you're using it as a course administration feature. So when you're wanting to, let's say you're looking at your course page, Janice is a bit confused by that, and
come
you
back
want
here.
to switch, you want to see what the course page looks like as a student. I don't think we have a screenshot
You don't have
of
a
it.
screenshot
No.
of it. Sorry.
Then previously, what you would do is you would go to your course your administration block, and there would be a switch role to student, and that's now up where your name is in the top right. You drop down that menu where you've got your dashboard and your profile and all that sort of stuff, and switch role 2 is up there, just in case you're looking for it.
Cool.
You know, in the old school way, in the administration area.
Moving right along. Tours.
Yes,
Tours. Oh
tours.
my God. Tours. We love
No.
tours. We love tours. Okay.
I mean, yes, we love tours.
we do love tours.
Sorry,
Tours are
we're
awesome.
getting a little bit excited there.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the things that I know the community has been talking about for a while, and Tabitha has been certainly excited about for a while, is being able to have some sort of walkthrough for teachers or students or whoever, because surely it made sense that if you've got a teacher who's new, or someone who's new, a student to the course, that you want to give them a little hint of where to start.
Also, if you've changed your site, if you've done an upgrade or you've moved something or changed
By the way, things are
Yeah.
here now, or whatever.
give them the helping
Give
hand.
them and she compared it to the old Microsoft Word Clippy, if you remember that. How you had Clippy would pop up and go, "It looks like you're writing a letter. Would you like help with that?"
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that we've got something like that now, which we can program in, and it knows the first time you've visited a certain page with a certain role, and if there's a tour for that, it goes, "Hey, welcome. I see you're doing this for the first time. Let's walk you through something." So it's for creating simple walkthroughs, highlighting features or changes, step-by-step instructions, and there's a repository of them, which will only grow. So you don't have to reinvent the tours every time you want to do them. Go have a look in the repository, which I'll show you. And helpful hint, set the theme for your tour, which I will also show you. So let's just have a look at what a tour looks like. I want to get rid of this view. Thank you.
Oh, that's how you do that.
Okay.
Sorry.
There's something blocking part of our screen, and I'm like, I want to get rid of it. Okay, so this is what a tour looks like. This is the default tour when I installed my local copy of Moodle 3.2, and I visited my page for the first time as a teacher. It went, welcome to this page. You have editing rights, so I'm going to give you a tour.
So while that thing is on the screen, you can still edit. You can still interact with what's going on behind there.
Yep.
So that's kind of good to know as well. So if the little tour box has got, you should try this, that, and the other, you can actually still work.
You can do that.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
then it starts highlighting various parts of the screen. Like to change this, you do this. And by the way, your navigation is up here. And this is your where your course participants is, just so you know where to find your users. And you can add a block in this area over here. And so it's pointing to various bits, and then it says that's the end of the tour.
Yeah.
And you can reset the tours
Press
down
end.
the bottom.
Yeah.
There's a little link in the footer of the theme that says reset the tour for this page for me, so that I can see the tour again, which is quite useful.
And admin can reset it for someone
And
else.
admin can reset it for someone else, or can reset it for everybody. So let's get on to looking at how to set up a tour.
Did we mention that
running
only
out of
site
time.
admins can do this?
I will mention it when
Yes.
I'm setting up a tour. Thanks, Tabitha.
You have to be site admin to set up.
Yeah. So, so setting up a tour is in the site administration area. So, in order to get to it, you have to be site administrator, which means that, where's my little warning thing? I don't know.
Anyway.
So, if you, so by default, only site admins can do it. You can edit other roles to be able to make tours
At your own peril.
and we do say, warning, if you do this and you mess up your roles and break things, we take absolutely no responsibility. Just so you know, we'll make you sign a waiver on the way out, okay? But it's there in the administration block under Appearance User Tours. And when you first get there, you'll see any tours that you already have on your site.
Yeah.
And underneath are 3 buttons for creating, importing, and the tour repository. And I'm going to look at the tour repository first.
That one.
Yeah. So by clicking the repository, you'll get taken to Moodle.net's tour repository. And it'll open up in a new tab or a new window. So if you're wondering where it's gone when you've clicked the button, if it doesn't automatically go to that tab for you, that's where it's gone. So look for that.
You're looking at a Moodle database.
Yeah, it's a database. So clicking on the title or the little magnifying icon next to it will go to single view. And once you're in single view, you can see any sort of description or details that the tour has, and you can download it when you decide that that's the one you want by clicking on that bit that I've circled, which is your JSON file. So that'll download to your computer.
Yep.
Then when you go back to your site, you can click the import button, and that'll take you to this screen. And then you do the usual thing that you do when you're uploading files and things, is you find the file on your computer and you go save changes. Once you've done that, it will actually take you straight to editing that particular tour that you've only just imported. So that's why this one has got editing a quiz written across the top, because that's what the tour was named that I downloaded.
We're not editing a quiz.
We're not editing a quiz, just so
We're
you know.
editing a tour.
It's just the tour is called Editing a Quiz. And it does say underneath that this is the Editing a Quiz tour. And it's got 5 steps already in it because the person who uploaded it to the repository put 5 steps in it. And you can see that there's a bunch of stuff in the target column down there that looks a bit scary, but I'll talk you through that.
Cool. Your next slide yet?
Oh, and I should
yeah.
say this is now your tour. Okay, so any changes you make here don't affect the version that's in the repository. So you can edit, delete, add to your heart's content. If you completely and utterly break it, you just delete the whole tour and re-upload it from that JSON file that you still should have in your downloads folder and start again. Okay.
We've got a question. Can you add audio? Haven't seen any audio.
No, I haven't seen an audio feature.
Maybe that's
in
the
tours.
next feature.
Yeah,
next time.
put that in the tracker or see if it's in the tracker. So you can get back to your list of tours by using the navigation that's up there. It's always best to use navigation instead of the back button. That's all I have for that screen.
Sorry. Moving on along.
And your newly imported tour will be in that list of tours.
See it? There it is.
Yay. So you can edit it. No, we've gone to add a new tour. Okay, because we've already talked about editing that tour. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get through this quickly because I'm looking at the time. So
we're creating a new tour.
We're creating a brand new tour. And when you create a brand new tour, you have a whole bunch of settings. And those little question marks, some of them are more helpful than others. Let's just say that now.
Yeah.
Okay. But the one that's reasonably helpful is the one that says apply to URL match. So that one does have some helpful tips in it. Read it, understand it. I'm going to talk you through a little bit of it. Next slide.
Okay.
So let's say I want to make a tour for the first time that a student specifically visits the feedback module, because this is one of the things that we've slightly circumnavigated in our own site, because people did not see the answer the questions link. They just see a title and an empty page.
Yeah.
We're like, but the link is right there for answer the questions. Oh, I didn't see that.
That little link with those little words down there under these big words, they just miss it.
I'm like, well, if I could make a tour just for that page, the first time somebody visits that page, to really highlight that that's what they need to click.
Which page is it? It's that page.
It's that page. So when you actually look at the URL, you ignore everything that's the URL of your site. So the URL of my site would have been, Moodle.wdhb.com. It's not, but that's /mod/feedback/view. And then this is the bit that's useful for the tour. The bit that tells it where in Moodle it is. It's a module, feedback, view.php, and then that little bit at the end is a wildcard. So it's basically saying, ignore everything that comes after this. Anything can go after that, but this is the important bit. Okay? So that's the bit. That's the bit that goes in that little, can we zoom?
Yeah, we're going to zoom.
Oh, wow. That's the bit that goes in that.
There we go.
And that apply URL to match. Okay. So name, description, as per usual. I started off with the tour being disabled while I was just building it. But it is important to note that before you use the tour, you need to come back to the settings screen and enable it. Then with these, I wasn't quite sure what they all did at first. Like the question marks weren't always very helpful. So I mostly left them at their default settings, except I changed show if target not found, because if I accidentally put the wrong thing in the target, I still wanted the tour to show. And proceed on click, I've said yes. So if the people click on the thing that I'm highlighting, it will proceed the tour. Then I wanted that role to only show for students. I didn't need the teachers to see that. And I wanted to make sure that it showed for all themes. So it doesn't matter what theme the student is using at the time, because this particular link that I'm highlighting is not dependent on the theme. Like the Nav Drawer would be dependent on the theme. So if you were wanting to highlight something to do with the Nav Drawer, you want to make sure you select Boost theme, because it won't work in Clean or anything like that. But this is not dependent on theme. So I said all themes will show this tour.
Next.
So then once I saved that, the tour list.
It appears in the tour list.
It's in there, and you can click on the name or the little magnifying glass to have a look at it. And the brand new tour does not have any steps yet, because you haven't added any. So you click that little new step link that I have circled, and it takes you to a page of settings. These are all the default settings, but we're going to change them a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to change is the step target. I'm not sure the answer to that question. The next one is the step target. So I didn't want it to be a block, because I'm not highlighting a block. And I didn't want it to just display in the middle of the page, because that's also not particularly helpful, especially if it happened to display over the link that I'm wanting to point out. So I had to choose selector, because I want to select a very specific part of my page. Okay. So selector, I know, is a sort of CSS term, but it also works if you think I want to select a certain part. And once you choose that, then the block bit down here, the block bit becomes disabled, and the CSS selector bit becomes enabled, because that's the bit you're going to use. Okay.
This is the scary bit for people.
This is the only scary bit. Okay. So how do you know what CSS selector to put in that box? Like how do you even figure that out? I suggest using Chrome or Firefox, because they come built in with some very good inspect tools to go and inspect the theme. And you used to have to install these things as extra plugins to use them, and they now come built in with it, which is pretty fancy.
And this makes it not so scary.
It makes it not so scary, because even though when you click on that, you will see a whole bunch of code, It's not so scary. So what you're actually going to do
is
you're going to find that little icon that looks like a box with an arrow, because that is your inspect element tool. So when you click on that and then you go and hover over your page, it will start highlighting. Did I just break it again? I did. Which page am I on?
We're on. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're good.
Great. Complete.
Okay, it will start highlighting bits
Feedback.
of the page.
Yeah.
And once you've highlighted the correct bit of the page, if you click the mouse button on that bit, it will basically pause on that bit, and it will show you the bit of the code that shows that page. Oh God, that shows that bit.
The div. You need the div.
And depending on your tool, it might even have a little pop up over above it. Oh God, talking is not working right now.
Anyway, that's the
so
bit
the
you
bit
want.
that I wanted was the div.complete feedback. Now, somebody did point out that I didn't need the div bit, but I put it in there. It doesn't hurt. I really just needed the .complete feedback bit, but in my example, I put in the div bit as well. So in my little settings, excuse me, these buds are itching. In my settings, I put that bit that I found in the CSS selector into the CSS selector box. And then I gave the content a title and a little description that basically says, click the answer the questions link to actually get to the feedback questions. And then with those options, that bit is actually collapsed. So you open it out and all those settings are inherited from, they're the exact same settings that the tour has. So they're inherited from the tour, which means that for specific items, you can overwrite the tour settings, which is quite nice.
You got to remember to tell people to re-enable. You've got to enable the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then when you go to test it, which is on the next screen, I enabled the tour, logged in as a student, and went to a feedback page. And this is what it showed up as. And I sort of went, that's not really clear enough for me. It's not, even though the box is directly there underneath the feedback link, it just wasn't clear enough. So I went back into the tour settings and I changed show with backdrop to yes instead of no, which I think it was no by default, or it was yes by I don't remember. But I changed it to yes because I had it at no. And then went back again and looked at the tour. So I reset the tour, looked at it again, and that was a lot better for me because what it did is it put that gray overlay over, or the transparent black overlay over the rest of the page, and left the bit that I'd said in the CSS selector, the div that surrounds the feedback link, left that white, so it really highlighted it. And I quite like that, actually. And I think that's probably what I would use most of the time when I'm wanting to highlight bits of the page. So I was quite happy with that. And that's actually the only step that I put in that particular tour. You don't have to have a big, long tour. You can just have a single step. And but you can add steps to it, and you just add steps by clicking the add step button when you're editing your tour and keep going through. But I suggest having two windows open, one where you're logged in as a student so that you can do the right click and inspect element and do all that sort of stuff and find all the correct CSS, and then one where you're logged in as administrator where you can then edit the tour as you go. Yes, collapsed topics, because students sometimes don't realize that they can click on the name of the topic and it will actually show them all the stuff.
So thanks everyone for coming to listen to us.
Again.
Again, some of you, yes. So we wanted to finish by pointing out that 3.3 has been released, and there are even more cool features than when we were talking about what to do with 3.2. So go and have a look. And if you haven't found it before, in Moodle Docs, there are pages that say just show you the new features. So you can go to the 3.3 new features page. The other thing to look at is the YouTube from Moodle HQ that has the new features all stepped through as well. So take a look at that. One of the things we're really excited to look at is, I think, a result from the iMoot Australia working group last year. There's a new tool that lets you bulk edit activity completion, and that's a really exciting thing to see.
Yeah.
So
bulk editing tools are just, when you're dealing with hundreds of courses and hundreds of activities and all those sorts of things, bulk edit tools are such a time saver.
Yeah, so please do go and check those out, and keep updating your Moodle sites to get all these new cool things. And yeah, you'll get used to them as you explore them. So thanks for coming along.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tabitha, and thank you, Miriam. Some great information there. Good tips as well. So thank you so much for that. And on behalf of the iMoot team, thank you for presenting. And I think you have another talk coming up.
Yeah, we have an hour's break. We get to pause for an hour.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Nice. And thank you.
Is that question? Can user tours have instructions to tell you to restore a course before you navigate to that course? Can user tours have instructions? Oh my gosh, to tell you to restore a course before you navigate to that course? What do you mean?
I think, how would I write a user tour to do class topics when it's like the different setup? So I'd want people to restore a course that I'd created, which is specific to class topics. You restore that course, you then go to that course, and it's all set up in the right format. Whereas, because class topics can be set up in loads and loads of different ways.
I suppose you could make a tour when someone visits a category.
Right.
Do you mean teachers?
Anybody. I don't know. I'm just trying to think that class topics really needs a user tour to describe it.
Restore a course, because only certain
teachers
people
can
well, teachers can't even restore courses. Only course creators can restore courses and administrators. So you can make tours dependent on role. And let's say if you said the tour shows up when people go to this specific category and they're a course creator or an administrator or something, then this tour pops up. So you can do it that way.
Right.
Or on entering the course that needs restoring, like on entering a course. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah. So
maybe
for course creators.
Maybe I need to put like a readme with like when you distribute user tours, can you like readmes and say, look, follow these instructions first before you use it?
I'm not sure what you mean. Like, where would they have to go?
On the Moodle hub where you download your tours from? I thought there's like a generic way you can share tours place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Carrie said, if Gareth made a tour, can I import it into my site? You can if the tour is shared in the repository.
Gareth has made a tour. I should go back to this. No, that was way too far back.
Stop taking us back to wood theme.
Here we go. So here. See, there's a little icon here. So if Gareth made a tour on his site and he used this little icon, that icon is uploaded to the repository.
But if he doesn't do that, then no, you can't use his tour.
Yeah, he has to upload it to the repository first.
If you shared it, you can have it. Yeah.
But
so can you set it so that the tour option shows up every time, even if a student has seen it once?
Or the first 5 times. No, I didn't see that. But these are feature requests.
Yeah.
Do you know how to put a feature request into Moodle Tracker? Sign up for Moodle Tracker and Moodle Tracker needs a tour.
Tracker.moodle.org.
Tracker.moodle.org. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
And then follow this tour that somebody on Tracker is going to have to make. But yeah, you can put in a feature request and then people can vote for it if they also want it, and that'll help prioritize it.
There are Moodle docs for the tracker.
Yeah. We'll put the tour on the Moodle docs. Yeah. But yeah, Track is a really good way of making sure that ideas are captured and shared, and the community gets to
improve things,
watch development on something, and vote for things that they think are important. It helps people know whether they should work on a particular item.
Yep.
Yeah, it's also where you go to see if bugs been reported, if you ever find a bug. There's no bugs in Moodle. Yeah.
I mean, yes.
So yeah.
Okay.
Thanks again, ladies, and
Thank you.
thank you everybody for attending. It always makes for a better presentation when we have engagement. So
Yeah.
thank you, everybody.
And yes, Janice, we do. Right, Tabitha?
We do have fun working together. That's why we follow each other around and work together at all these different places.
All right.
Bye.
Awesome.